President Trump has long had an ironclad grip on his party. This week showed some real cracks and raising some larger questions for the president as Republicans begin to worry about their own political fortunes, not his. The GOP revolt demanding the release of the Epstein files and effectively backing the president into a corner was the most dramatic example of that.
Federal judge just delivered blow to Donald Trump that has him absolutely exploding right now, and what's happening could dismantle his entire revenge presidency strategy. Judge in D.C. looked at what Trump's been doing with federal money and basically said in official court ruling, you're using billions of dollars to punish states that didn't vote for you, and that's completely illegal. We're talking about Judge flat out accusing sitting president of weaponizing federal grants for political payback, and then ordering Trump to give all that money back, over $7 billion, just ordered restored, while telling Trump's team your justifications don't hold up and you need to stop this immediately. That's not some minor setback. That's Judge saying your whole approach to governing violates Constitution and I'm forcing you to reverse course right now. But real quick, before we get into this, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built National Brief Network to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, please subscribe because you might think you are but aren't. Your subscription actually matters here. So let's talk about what actually went down because this is absolutely explosive moment. Trump's administration had been going through list of federal grants approved under previous administration. Clean energy stuff. Projects for batteries and renewable technology and grid improvements. And apparently someone in Trump's team noticed that bunch of these grants were going to states that voted Democratic. California getting money, New Jersey getting money, Colorado, Washington, all blue states in last election. Share this video with everyone you know because Trump's people decided to just cancel all that funding. We're talking massive amounts of money, billions, projects that were already approved and moving forward suddenly getting their funding yanked. Companies that won competitive grants suddenly being told, actually, never mind, we're taking that back. States that were counting on this money for economic development suddenly facing massive holes in their budgets. Now, normally when government cancels grants, there's supposed to be actual policy reason, like maybe project isn't working out, maybe there's budget emergency, maybe priorities changed and money needs to go somewhere else, some legitimate governmental purpose. But according to what Judge found, Trump's team basically admitted they were doing this because these states voted against Trump, just straight revenge, no policy justification, just we lost these states so they don't get federal money. Think about how insane that is. Using control of federal budget to punish Americans for how they voted. That's exactly the kind of thing Constitution is supposed to prevent. Can't treat citizens differently based on their political choices. Can't say you voted against me so your state doesn't get federal funding. That's textbook unconstitutional behavior. And Judge called it exactly that. So Judge issued orders saying all that money has to be restored, all those grants go back into effect, all those projects can move forward, and Trump's team, if they want to cancel this funding, they need to come back with actual legitimate reasons, not just political payback. That's devastating for Trump because entire second-term strategy has been about using federal power this way, rewarding supporters, punishing opponents, and Judge just said that's illegal and I'm stopping you. Make sure you're subscribed to National Brief Network, but it gets even better. Or worse for Trump, depending how you look at it. Because this isn't only Judge hammering Trump right now. Another federal judge up in Boston about to issue ruling protecting professors and academics from deportation if they're speaking out on Palestinian issues. Judge looked at what Trump's immigration enforcement has been doing and basically said you're trying to deport people for their political speech and that violates First Amendment. So this judge setting up system where if Trump tries to go after any of these academics, he has to prove in court that it's not retaliation for what they're saying. Burden of proof on government. And Judge used word authoritarian to describe Trump's approach. Put that in official court opinion. Federal judge calling sitting president authoritarian. That's not normal diplomatic judicial language. That's Judge so concerned about what he's seeing that he's being blunt about it. And there's third judge doing same thing. Different case about pediatric funding. Trump tried to cut millions in grants to medical organization. Judge looked at it and said, you're defunding them because they criticized your policies and that's not allowed. Ordered all that money restored too. Another late night emergency ruling forcing Trump to back down. So we've got 3 different federal judges in span of like 2 days, all issuing rulings against Trump. All using really strong language about constitutional violations and abuse of power. All forcing Trump's administration to reverse course and restore funding or protect people from retaliation. That's not normal level of judicial pushback. That's courts looking at what Trump's doing and saying this has gone too far and we're stepping in. Think about what's happening here. Trump's entire second-term approach has been about settling scores, going after states that didn't support him, targeting organizations that criticized him, using deportation threats against activists, using federal budget as weapon. That's been the whole strategy. And now judges are systematically blocking all of it, saying you can't run government this way. You can't use federal power for personal vendettas. Constitution doesn't allow it. Make sure you're subscribed because, and here's why this is so significant beyond just Trump losing some court cases. Judges are being unusually direct about what they think Trump is doing. Usually courts phrase things diplomatically, give benefit of doubt, use careful language to avoid seeming political. But these rulings aren't diplomatic. Judge saying Trump canceled grants specifically because of how states voted. Judge calling approach authoritarian. Judge saying there's no rational explanation for the targeting. That's judges saying we see exactly what you're doing and we're calling it out. And that matters because it creates official record. These opinions don't just stop Trump's actions temporarily. They document for history what judges thought Trump was doing. Future courts can look at these rulings. Future cases can cite them. It becomes permanent part of legal record that federal judges found Trump was abusing power for political retaliation. Share this video with everyone you know because now Trump's obviously going to appeal all of this. His DOJ will argue president has broad authority over federal spending. We'll say judges shouldn't second-guess executive decisions. We'll try to get these rulings overturned, and maybe they succeed on appeal. Maybe higher courts side with Trump. Maybe Supreme Court says he has more discretion than these district judges think. But even if Trump wins appeals, that takes time, months or years. And meanwhile, these injunctions are in effect. Money is restored, academics are protected, programs continue, so Trump is losing right now in real time with real consequences. And those judicial opinions calling out his behavior, those don't disappear even if decisions eventually get overturned. Still on record, still documenting what judges thought he was doing. Think about what this reveals about Trump's approach to governing. He's not trying to hide the revenge aspect. His people apparently admitted to judges that they canceled grants based on voting patterns. That's how blatant it is. So blatant that even judges who might normally defer to executive authority are saying, no, this crosses line. This is unconstitutional, and we're stopping it. And here's what makes Trump's meltdown over this so predictable. He's built entire presidency around idea that he can use federal government however he wants. That presidential power means doing whatever serves his interests. That punishing opponents is just normal politics. And courts are telling him that's wrong, that there are limits, that Constitution constrains what he can do even as president. So of course Trump's exploding about this. Probably calling judges activists, probably attacking them on social media, probably demanding his supporters rally against judicial overreach, because that's his pattern. When courts tell him no, he doesn't accept it. He attacks, he undermines, he tries to delegitimize judicial authority. That's authoritarian playbook. When institutions try to check your power, you attack the institutions. But here's the thing. These rulings show courts are still functioning as check on presidential power, at least for now, despite all Trump's judicial appointments, despite all his attacks on judicial independence. There are still judges willing to rule against him when they think he's violating Constitution. Still judges willing to use strong language to call out what they see as abuses. Still judges willing to issue emergency orders blocking his actions. That's significant because a lot of people assumed Trump's second term would be unchecked, that courts would rubber stamp whatever he wanted, that judicial appointments guaranteed him free hand. But that's not what's happening. District judges especially are pushing back, are ruling against him, are forcing him to reverse course. That's not total control. That's president facing real constraints from judicial branch. Think about implications if these rulings stand. If courts keep blocking Trump's retaliation efforts, if judges keep saying you can't use federal power to punish political enemies, then Trump's whole second-term strategy falls apart. Can't flood red states with money while starving blue states, can't deport critics, can't defund opposition groups, has to actually govern within constitutional limits. That would be massive constraint on what he's trying to do. Make sure you're subscribed because of course Trump's not accepting these constraints. He's going to keep pushing, keep testing limits, keep trying to find ways around court orders. That's what he does. But judges are showing they're willing to keep blocking him. Keep issuing rulings. Keep calling out constitutional violations. That creates ongoing battle between Trump and courts that could define his entire second term. And here's what should concern everyone regardless of politics. President openly using federal budget to punish states for voting against him. That's dangerous precedent. That undermines democratic system. If presidents can say you voted wrong so you don't get federal funding, elections become even higher stakes than they already are. States have incentive to vote for whoever's in power just to avoid economic punishment. That's not how democracy is supposed to work. Thing he spent entire career avoiding. This story continues developing. Stay tuned. This video with everyone you know because so judges drawing line here matters. Saying presidents can't do this. Have to treat all states equally regardless of voting patterns. Have to respect First Amendment even when they don't like what people are saying. Have to have actual policy reasons for their decisions, not just political revenge. Those are basic constitutional principles, and courts are enforcing them even against sitting president. Bottom line is this. Federal judge just ruled Trump illegally used billions in grants to punish Democratic states for voting against him. Ordered all that money restored. Called out administration for having no rational explanation beyond political retaliation. 2 other judges issued similar rulings protecting academics and restoring pediatric funding, all within 2 days, all using strong language about constitutional violations and abuse of power. Trump is melting down over this because it threatens his entire revenge presidency strategy. Can't use federal government as weapon against opponents if courts keep blocking him. Can't govern through retaliation if judges keep saying that's unconstitutional. Has to actually respect constitutional limits. And that's not what he signed up for. That's not how he wants to operate, so he's exploding while judges systematically dismantle his approach. Whether these rulings survive appeals, we'll see. Whether courts can sustain this level of pushback, we'll see. Whether judicial system remains independent check on presidential power long-term, we'll see. But right now, in this moment, judges are landing serious blows against Trump, are calling out his behavior in writing, are forcing him to reverse course. And Trump absolutely hates it because accountability is thing he's spent entire career avoiding. This story continues developing. Stay tuned.